Hello everybody and welcome back to Photoshop for Beginners. This is the fourth episode. We will talk about tools and shortcuts. My name is Al.Mahdi and let's go ahead and get started by opening Photoshop. This is actually a simple thing that we want to organize. So what we have shapes that we created using the shape tool. Over here we have multiple shapes, but we want them to be lined and well spaced. So let's get started by using the move tool. We actually know that move tool is somehow it's only to move objects, but it is actually quite amazing tool to organize and to align things together. So if you come over here, which is called the options bar, the options bar is quite useful. If you don't have it on, you should go to window and go over here and select it from window to options. I don't know if it's also the same on Windows, but you should find it anyways. So over here you can make the move tool to auto select the layer, but that might be dangerous for some projects, but in this case it's okay because you can see it does select it quite good. I'm gonna select this, it click it, and select this and click it, and it's quite very good tool to do this. So when I click this, okay, drag, but sometimes you don't need that to happen. So I always recommend to keep auto selection off and just organize those and name them properly, and I will tell you how to do so in a future lesson. So let's go ahead and start organizing those to align together and to be on the center. So first of all, we should select each layer, and while they're all highlighted, you will see those tools are now available. You can use them. You can use them. It's not like before. If you just had one, you cannot use it, but you have multiple, you can use it as well. And if you just increase the count of selections, it will enable more. So now what I want to do is to just align them in the center and make the even spacing between them without calculating or using the rule, which is the ruler. Is to get to the ruler, you can command R to get to the ruler and just click on the ruler and drag, and just wasting time to just align them. So the best way to align them in the center, and they will be exactly on the center, is to use those tools. So let's go ahead and just use this. Align to the top edges. This is align vertical centers, and I think this is the one we will use. And you can see it's almost there, but the spacing between each rectangle is not even, so it's quite easy to guess that we will go ahead. This is all it is only for aligning things, and this is for distribute things. So let's go ahead and distribute horizontal centers, and it will distribute them evenly. Now we're not sure if they are actually in the center, because maybe from here to here is not the same as from here to down. Oops, sorry about that. From here to down there. Sometimes you need to do this. You should be so specific about the distance, especially if you're designing for web design, and we will talk about it on other course since it's not for beginners. But let's get this aligned and in the center. So I think it is not even. If you just count this is 0 to stuff like that, whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna click Command H to hide those lines, guidelines, and I will select all, Command A to select the whole document size, and I will go ahead and do the same align centers. This is distribute. I will align it to the centers, and this is a very useful tool. Now we have them actually in the center, which is very good. Look at the difference from here to here. This is good tool to align things and organize them much better without even just using the ruler and blah 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 stuff. So you should get advantage of each tool and what does it do. So this is very good. Now let's go ahead and go through all of these selection tools. So first of all, I want to deselect this. To do so, I'm gonna click Command D. So let's go ahead. I prepared another file for the selection tool, and it seems that I played a lot with it. So let's go ahead from the beginning. Okay, now we have a selection tool. You can see over here we have tools for making different stuff with it. So let's go ahead and just start selecting part of this image. To do so, I'm gonna click and drag, and that's what we've done. Now if you have this as a regular layer, when you just move the selection like this, if this icon is like so, it will not cut it out. But if you clicked Command and it shows like scissors, and just I should just select this first. So okay, if you just now grab it while this is selected, it should be selected, so that knows where are you playing around with. So anyways, while clicking the command and click and drag, it will cut this part out. So you should be confident with it and playing around, and just be careful. Sometimes it's harmful to your original image, unless if you duplicate it and do the safety things. So now we have this rectangular tool. We can feather it. You can select more by clicking this icon and just adding to the selection, like so. You can do that, and you can also do the opposite. You remove from the selection, and it is quite a great tool to play around with, and very good for masking, which we'll talk about masking in the next lesson. But today we will talk about the selection tools and the tools in general. So okay, let's finish this. This is the ellipse tool. You can do it as an ellipse. Okay, this is single line selection, as well as this, but it's in a different orientation. So the shortcut for those two is M. As you can see the shortcut is M. So you can do it. What you can do in the keyboard, you can click M and jump to it. But if you want the other tool, which is the ellipse selection tool, I don't know if it's named like that, but anyways, you can click shift and M, and it will roll to any other selection. And when we change the feathering and change it to 2 somehow, and just drag, and you can say click Q on the keyboard, and it will show you that how's the selection is. So if we change this a little bit, make it 0, and I will show you what is the difference between 0 and while we have a feather. So let's go ahead and just select it again, and you'll see it have a sharp edges selection. But if you just have a feather, that will change a lot. Let's make it very big feather. So just like this. I should select this first layer and just dragging. I think there's something happening. I think I think it is a lot feathering. Okay, I should just decrease it a little bit. Okay, now let's go ahead and Q, and you see this is a lot of feather, and that's quite awesome tool to do so. You can do a lot of things with it, and you can also choose something like and let's hit Q again. You can also choose to if you have a selection, you can refine the edges and do things awesome. So you can just smart radius and just do things. We will talk a lot about this in the next tutorial, because we have to use this a lot. So let's deselect by clicking Command D, and let's go jump ahead to this lasso tool, which is kind of the same idea, which is give you a selection but in a different way as you are drawing the selection as you wish. Let's go ahead and jump again to the polygonal lasso tool, and just clicking, and it will give you a shape like a polygonal stuff. It's like a polygon shape. Anyways, polygon selection. So it looks okay, but there is another one which is like kind of old. I think I used to use it when I was a kid, and it's actually very quite awesome tool that selects without you clicking. It's like a magnet selection. It sees the contrast, but if you go to something blurry like this, it's kind of get weird and stuff like that. But when there's a contrast, it will act very good. So let's deselect this, and this is quite good, handy tool to keep in mind. But I usually select the quick selection tool, because it's quite amazing and very quick to select things up. So let's go ahead and show you. So I just clicked over here, but if I clicked and dragged, just dragging, it will just select quite the things that I really needed. And it's very simple, very accurate somehow. But you can also make it even more accurate by refining the edges and clicking to see the feathering and stuff like so. And this will be quite amazing to create mask in the future videos. We'll talk about masks. So let's just deselect this, and we have a magic wand, and this is actually amazing tool too. And it was I think was very old tool, but it still functioned quite amazing. So what does it do? It does select the similar colors, and it is very useful if you have a green screen and you want to remove it. By just selecting that, and you will remove it simply. And you have those tools, you can see them, can play around with them. They're quite useful to know that they are there, especially if you have a lot of layers. You may not need to sample all layers, so you do just deselect it, and it will just choose what's in the selected layer. So yes, there's quite features on selection, and if you was working with a bigger project, you need to save a selection. To do that, so if you deselect it, you can go back to it. I just click Command Z over there, but there's a better way, because you may not click Command Z and go back to it, because you will do other things, so it will be quite difficult to come back to the same selection you have made. So to do so, to save this selection, we're gonna go to the select, and we will go to save selection. It's so obvious. So let's say name it sec2, because I already done one. So let's go ahead and save this, and just go ahead and select, go down, load selection, and from here, first I will deselect, so I show you that it works. So deselect, and I'm gonna go and see you cannot save a selection because you're not selecting anything. So I'm gonna do load selection, and I'm going to use sec2 because that one was sec1 was my previous while playing around with this file. Anyway, I will just click OK, and you'll see our selection is back. This is quite useful for, I see it for masking, but you can see it for other things. So let's go ahead and go back, and let's go ahead and learn about cropping. We know that cropping that well because we talked about it a lot on previous lessons. So let's jump ahead and to the shortcuts for those. So let's don't crop, and just go ahead and show you. This is W, and you can shift W, shift W, and it's quite amazing to have this. This is the lasso tool. So it is L, shift L will go through all other things. M is for the selection tool, other selection tool. I don't know what is it called actually, but it's quite cool to have the names of it. So let's go ahead and crop tool, and shift click, go to the perspective crop tool, which is very handy, especially if you have photo in perspective and you want to just select this heart. Let's say, for example, it is on perspective, but we want it to be flat. So let's go ahead and see we have that flat heart, which is quite interesting tool, especially if you have pictures in walls and they are tilted a little bit. You can just click like so and just have it show perfectly. It doesn't work quite well in this one, but in this photo, but it will work in different photos. So let's go ahead and use the slicing tool. Slicing tool is quite advanced, so we don't use it actually. I do use it for web designing a lot, but sometimes there's a better ways to do so. The concept of this tool is just to slice this photo. So when you save it in a different file. So what I mean is, when I want this, I want only the heart. I don't want the. How to explain it? It's quite hard. So now I have a lot of buttons, let's say, and I have, this is button style 1, the button style 1, this is button style 2, and let's imagine a little bit, because there's no buttons in this photo, but and at least we have those things, and we can just save them separately, so we can pass them to the developer so he can program an application that interacts and stuff with a good style. So anyways, let's just forget about the slicing tool for a while because it's quite advanced tool. So let's see, this is how does it look. This is number 1, number 2, so on. You have slicing tools everywhere, Anyways, let's just deselect and just undo. Okay, we have that. Just keep in focus. It's quite a little bit advanced. So this is the drop tool. You know that it is a great tool to select different colors from your image, or maybe you can just click and drag and go a little bit off the screen. You're gonna get this color. So it's quite amazing tool. So shift click, go to the 3D material eyedropper tool, which is a little bit advanced tool to do to it is an eyedrop for a materials, not for a color. So and let's go ahead. This is a color sample, which is a good tool to do those things, to check how the color acts and see the information of those colors, and get an idea of how the color from here to here, are they the same or are they different, because our eyes are not that perfect to recognize if this color is the same as this, but sometimes our eyes trick us. So this is a great tool to keep in mind if you have quite big project. And let's go ahead to the rule tool. This is quite amazing if you have a landscape photo, maybe on the beach, maybe on I don't know, and it was a little bit tilted. Let's say this is the sunset and this is the beach, so it's a lot, it is tilted. So to straighten it out, you just click here to the horizon line. Let's guess this is a horizon line, and just drop and use straighten this out. And if you want to make sure that it is straight, you're gonna have to use the rulers to make sure. So let's go ahead and just do so. So let's see, this is straight. So straightening tool is quite amazing, but you should keep in mind that you should crop in the end, and it might be lengthy a little bit, but it's worth it. So let's go ahead and use command shift I to go to the note tool. The note tool is quite amazing, especially if you have a big project. Again, you can have this note over here telling you to select it. I don't know, it might not say this, but it might say something more important, especially if you're not working alone in the same project. So this is a quite amazing tool to use. So I actually don't use it a lot. Actually, if I have things, notes or stuff like this, I write them on paper instead of on the project itself, and it's there. You can use this, or you can use your paper, whatever. So this is a quite good tool, so you can have multiple notes on different places, maybe to remind you or to remind your friend when he opened this photo out. I don't know, I think it's useful tool also for productivity matters. This is also the same, but it actually says, okay, first this, then second that, then third this, and this is all about it. It counts. I'm just clear this out. You can change the color for the marker, but and let's see, you can do this one, so on. This is quite useful for productivity tool, the last two tools. So let's go ahead and jump to the healing tools and the brush tool. And I'm gonna have to open this other file over here. Now we have here is a quite dirty sign. We want to clean it up and make it look, you know, without any sign over here. Just want to remove it. So to do so, we will use the healing tool. Just, it is quite amazing tool, and it does so many things. Let's say we don't need those needles, and just selecting those, just clicking. You should make sure that it is on content aware, and if there's a lot of layers, you might need to switch this off or switch it on. It depends on what you need. We will talk about this tool on skin stuff maybe later, not in other course, I think. So that's quite useful tool to just remove things out or to sharpen it. And it doesn't work for things like I want to remove all of this, and sometimes it doesn't work, but in this case it did, which is actually fun. And sometimes it doesn't work, so we will jump ahead and use the other tool. And brush tool, we quite know what does it do, so we don't need to do so. So the healing tool shortcut for it is G. And let's go ahead and jump to the cone tool, which is a little bit you can specify from where to get the information. So I'm specifically making it coning those pixels to down here, and it works perfect to remove things, to fake things. Sometimes we need to fake things to make them look good, and you should maintain the lightning stuff, and it's quite useful tools over here. You can use any of those, but let's go ahead. I'm just talking rubbish right now because I'm not used to work on talk, but you know what I'm talking about anyways. So this is a quite amazing tool that cones. You just hold Alt and click and just drawing, just cloning those. It works quite good. You can use it in a different creative matters to do different things. I used to do this thing. You can change the blending mode, which we'll talk about it later. Opacity, the flow, which is also we have it on the brush tool. You can choose those things, all layers or current layer whatsoever, and you can change the brush as well, which is quite amazing. But I used to have the healing tool to do all that for me, and I have another tip to do this too. It's quite amazing. So it looks very awesome using the healing tool. It's quite fast tool and it does a great job. So cloning is only if the healing tool doesn't work. Okay, kind of almost there. Just deleting the unnecessary or dirty stuff sign, and we can just change what's on it later. You can do anything inside it. I don't know, it looks good right now. Maybe there's some parts which you need to just adjust a little bit, but it looks right now quite awesome. Looks like this is a reflection of a tree, shadow of the tree. I think it's good. I don't know. So those tools, healing tools are cone and healing tool are quite amazing for these kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and skip this one. I have no idea about it. I never used it really, but let's check this. Okay, I think I got it. I think this tool does the opposite of what we've done. So if I increase this, and I will draw back what we have erased. So wow, I never tried this tool before, but it's quite awesome. Quite awesome. This erase tool, it will erase to whatever is on that, and I don't like it a lot, but you can use it. You can use the magical erase tool to just erase things. And we have here a paint tool to paint things for us. We know this from paint. And this is a gradient. We'll talk about a gradient more in the blending modes tutorial. We have 3D material drop tool. We have the blur tool. If we have things like here, we can blur them out just like so. We have the sharpening tool. Maybe you want to sharpen this edge, what you can use this too. Smudge tool, you can just do some smudgy things like so and just smudge it. It might be useful, maybe not, depends on what you're doing. This is the dodge and burn. This is actually a photographer's favorite tools, because it lighten and darken areas of the photo. It plays with the light. See, it plays with light. If we have it under burn, it will darken those. You can use it in a creative way, but this is just an example. You don't want to do this in a real project. Sponge tool, I think it just sponge it, make it could somehow look weird, but it's quite favorite tools for photographers. Let's jump ahead to the free form pen tool, and this is to draw paths. Let's go ahead to this one first, the pen tool, and you just click drag to make a curve, click drag to make another curve, and we have a path. Actually, path doesn't show in the final image, but it is quite obvious that paths are only paths. What I mean is, if I click this text tool and just tell it to write on that path, so I'm gonna click this and say hi there, nice, have a nice day. So this is what do you call it? This is what is useful on paths. So simply, this is what does it do. And you can also edit the path when you finished it. You can use this tool, or you can this free as drawing. But I usually like to use the first one, and we can add points, delete points, which is like so. Add point over here, add point over here. We can edit it more, and we can also delete those points we already added, and it will change it a little bit. But let me keep it as is, and just the pen tool, keep it on. So let's go ahead and edit this. How to edit this path? There is a path selection tool, and this is useful for that. kind of path thing, you can go over here from layers to paths instead of layers. Go there and just select this path, work path is it, and just drag that. I think this is the one, not the one. You can just drag this, drag that, just change this, change that. And actually we should change this path selection. We want to select the direct selection tool instead, because we want to change just one setting at a time. So you just deselect. I want to select it like this. I want to change it instead of it being like so. So just click this and just return it as before. So this is a quite amazing tool to keep it on back, to create text bending and stuff. You can do it other ways, but this is quite amazing way and editable way. As you wish, you can bend it and move it and so on. So I think that's all about it. And I think I already taught you how to change the colors without fast, especially if you have them over here using the shortcuts. You can select this text and have alt selected and just backspace, and that will make it white. And when you have command and backspace, and it will do it black. So it depends on what color you have over here. Let's change this to maybe blue, and just keep it white, return it to blue. So this is quite amazing tool to play around with. Shortcut, I mean, sorry. And let's go ahead and use this rectangular tool, and this is actually what we've used. This is a shape tool, and you can just hold, and because there's an arrow, you can hold and just drag and click what you wish to use. So we have this rectangular, you double click it and you're gonna have a different color. Let's go ahead and just lower the opacity so it blends a little bit. I don't know, we will talk about blending more in the future lessons, so I don't mind about this. Let's go ahead and delete that. You can just select another one and just select it, and you can click Command T to rescale it, because its shape it's okay to do so, but sometimes you don't want it because you have those round edges, and it will may play around with the roundness of your shape. So you should keep this in mind though. You have the ellipse, have those, the line tool, and you also can do the shortcut of Shift U and clicking to scrub through all of those. And the last of them is the custom shape tool, which is quite useful because you can choose a lot of shapes from here, and you can also maybe create your own shapes and save them. So I may use this and change the color to dark color. You can also add stroke, and I don't think I need that. You can specify what is the stroke look like, or the points of it. Anyways, I'm gonna hold shift and drag, and I'm gonna have this look, and just releasing, and maybe I will double click, change the color to darker, not sun. I don't want the layer style, I want this color picker, make it dark, and just go up a little bit out, and we have a different sign using those tools. And we actually know how to do this. So yes, that's about it. I think that's about it. We are done here. Let's explain more about these tools. This is the hand tool. We actually move and pan around. So just if you select and just if you're zoomed in, this is very useful. You can use the mouse to do that. And let's go ahead to the rotate tool, which you click and rotate this, which will not affect your final image. It only affects the editing process. If you want to just rotate it over here and just paint things, if you're a painter using the brush tool, it's quite good to have this on mind. You can rotate things. On Mac, you can just use the pen, the thingy, as your iPhone motion. I don't know, multiple, whatever. Anyways, this is quite awesome. You can use R, click R to have the rotate tool, and shift to constrain it. I'm gonna keep it as what it was. Anyways, that's all about it. This is the zoom, and this will switch the colors, and this is the Q thing. So if I have ellipse selected over here, I'm gonna select this layer and select over here. If I click this, it will give you the same thing as if you clicked Q. So that kind of should be in your vocab. I don't know. And I'm gonna have to deselect it, Command D to deselect it. Now let's go ahead and have the full screen mode. You can do so by just clicking over here, and let's go press this, and you can just do this. And especially if you're drawing, this will be very useful for you. So let's go ahead and just have that to standard. You can click F to do the same thing, just clicking multiple times, so it will give you the same results. So I hope you enjoyed. So we have learned today the tools and some of the shortcuts, and how the options are like so, and how you can get the most out of those tools. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and keep learning, inspire and create things, amazing things, and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Al.Mahdi, and see you in the next lesson, which will talk about masks and blending modes. See you then. Bye.